This is going to be our final output after this video, in which one terminal is on the ROS core of laptop and the second one is communicating with the Raspberry Pi wirelessly. So the step number one is to download this image. I will be downloading it. I will be giving this link in the description. Now to flash the Ubiquiti Robotics image into my SD card, I am going to use this Bellina Etcher software. Here I am going to select the image. It will obtain my SD card here and I will start flashing it. You have to plug in the Raspberry Pi, power it up, and the first thing that we have to do is to connect it to this access point. It will require a password. I have already typed in the password. The password is robots everywhere. So by typing this password, you can get connected to this access point. When you are connected to this access points, which means we can SSH, which means secure shell, into the Raspberry Pi 10.42.0.1. It says there is some error. This error arises when you have already logged into the Raspberry Pi once and you are doing it again. So what you have to do is to go here into home directory, Control H, showing all hidden files, and going into this SSH, deleting this file, coming back, rerunning. We type yes, password is Ubuntu, pressing enter. So what happens is we get into our Raspberry Pi. Isn't that cool? We are now into our Raspberry Pi. We didn't require any hardware, any display, monitor or mouse. We just log into our Raspberry Pi using the command shell. So let's check if there is ROS installed. Yes, ROS is already installed on this image. That's why I've used Ubiquiti Robotics image. It says ROS is currently running. So that's why ROS core didn't run successfully. It says that ROS core is already running. So clear it. When you turn on the Raspberry Pi, the ROS core is already running because they built this image for their Magni. I think Magni was the name of the robot they built it for. There will be multiple topics you can see that will be currently running. Okay. For our purpose, what we are going to do is to Pi-Fi. Pi-Fi is a command which we will be using to connect this Raspberry Pi to our home Wi-Fi. Why I am going to do this? Because I want to update packages on this Raspberry Pi. Pi-Fi list scene. This command tells these are the available Wi-Fi. So what I will be doing is connect it to this access point. Why I am doing this? To make a connection over the internet. Okay, we have an error. It says that we can add a Wi-Fi after setting a new host name. So we will be adding a host name, set host name, and the name will be Lukman. Sorry, I guess I have to type sudo as well. What is the error? Okay, set host name and sudo as well. The password is Ubuntu by default. Okay, it has been done. Now running the command of adding a Wi-Fi. It says run with sudo It is now completed. What we have to do is now is to reboot it. Will be the next time we will be accessing this Pi through the shell. We will be accessing it on the internet. Currently we are connected to this access point. The next time we will be connected to this and we will be accessing this Pi with the same IP, or I would say we would be using, if I check it here, SSH Ubuntu at ubiquity robot.local. Can I get into it? Yes, I can get access to it. This command ssh ubuntu at ubiquity robot.local. One thing was remaining. We have to push reboot. Press enter. Running the SSH command to access a Raspberry Pi over the network. I have added a new host named Lucky. In my laptop as well as the Raspberry Pi is connected to access point Paradise 1, which I have explained in the previous video. This command is important. I will explain it later. The new terminal that I have opened, in which I have opened ROS core, is on my laptop. I will be copying the ROS core information and pasting it here in the Raspberry Pi terminal. So the Raspberry Pi knows the node should contact the ROS core. Okay, let's first check how many nodes are currently running. Okay, I will be running a tutorial node which is Talker on the Raspberry Pi. Talker is a publisher of a string message. On the laptop, I will be running a tutorial node listener which will be listening to the Talker node. In ROS terms, Raspberry Pi will be publishing and the laptop will be subscribing. As you can see, the communication has started over the network. Let's get some information about the publisher and the subscriber first through our Qt graph. The stalker is on the Raspberry Pi and this listener is on our laptop. I will be checking about the Raspberry Pi publishing, how it is how the Raspberry Pi is publishing, or which information it is using to publish, or what information I can get about the talker. I've made some mistake. Yes. So you see the contacting node. The important thing is the contacting node has this address for the ROS core. So this completes our tutorial of Raspberry Pi communicating with our ROS core on our laptop.